have Shubham here in the meet. Hello, Shubham.
Hi everyone. Very good morning. Merry Christmas to all of you.
Good morning.
I hope you all can see me and hear me clearly.
Uh, yeah, we can see you. Yeah.
All right. And
So, should we start?
yes, but before that, I would like to see a quick yes in the chat section that everyone is able to hear me clearly and see me clearly. I will also share my screen so that we can deep dive into the fundamentals of free and open source.
Uh,
Okay, so do you guys see my screen?
yes, the
Yeah,
screen
we
is
can.
visible.
Okay, fine. So cool. Let's start. So, hi, good morning, everyone. This is Shubham Dumbre, back with another Power Pack session, and this time we have the second session with this series, right, City? So, in this session, we'll be talking more about free and open source tools, applications, and resources. And let's enjoy the open source initiative, which was started by Richard Stallman. Just to give you a quick intro, what all I have done till now, there's a 30-second video coming up for you all. So that's in short my journey. Now, moving on. Before we start, I would just want you all to save this link in the which I'll be just posting in the chat section because this link is very important in terms of understanding the basics. We have already conducted a wonderful 2 hour session, I suppose, last time when we did it, and I think I have to look for the link once again. Yep. So this is the link. This is a link to the previous session which we had, and in that we had just started off with what are the different options which are available for in terms of FOSS and FOSS tools, applications, and resources. Today we'll be again deep diving into the basics, but our major focus today would be on the practical hands-on practice. So just to have a reference like what is FOSS, who found it, what is the background for FOSS, and all, you can just have a look at this link after this session. All right. For the ones who have come here for the very first time, I would just give you a base like what exactly is FOSS. So FOSS is free and open source software, which was initiated by Richard Stallman in 1990s, 1980s. Because what happened with this guy, I'll give you a glimpse in the video. So there's a very good popular quote by Philip Kant. It says, "The power of open source is the power of people. The people rule here." Of course. So nowadays, whatever laptops, devices, computers we use, all have a lot of proprietary software in it. Proprietary software is something that is governed by a company that has limitations, that is restricted. You cannot edit the code, you cannot modify the code, and all that stuff. But open source gives us the opportunity to research, to reverse engineer, to modify the code in such a manner that we can create different combinations according to our usage, according to our knowledge and expertise. So Philip Ken has simply put it like the power of open source is the power of people, the people rule here. So let's revise FOSS fundamentals with this short video coming up now.
Do you know what open source is? Well, let me explain it for you. Basically, it means that the recipe of any given work is shared and free for anybody to use. Let me take you back where it all started. In the 1980s, a guy named Richard Stallman had a problem with the software in his printer. He could fix the printer himself, but unfortunately, he was not allowed to get inside the black box by the manufacturer. This frustration was the beginning of the free and open source movement. The essential benefits of open source are access to the source or recipe of any given work, free remix and redistribution of any given work, an end to predatory vendor lock-in, and a higher degree of cooperation. Open source is originally a software-related term. But let's take a non-technical example of where the open source mindset is actually used today.
So is this video clear to you till now, guys? I would like to see what are you trying to get from this video? Is this video clear? Like, is it giving you some examples? What is open source exactly and all that stuff? I would like to see yes, clear. Fantastic. So now we will be moving on to an example. Like which is related to this open source.
Do you know what open source is? As the design of the skate, he
Yes.
becomes more skilled openly, is actually related term.
From here we start again.
But let's take a non-technical example of where the open source mindset is actually used today. Here's Dave. He is a really passionate skateboarder. He loves the community because everyone shares tips and tricks openly. This means that everybody has access to the source of becoming a better skateboarder. Dave has the opportunity of remixing an existing trick and making it even better. He becomes more skilled, faster. If Dave's skateboard breaks, he doesn't necessarily have to go back to the vendor to get it fixed. He can also fix it himself with the help of one of his friends from the community. This is because the design of the skateboard is open source. In the skateboard community, you share new ideas and remix each other's tricks. You cooperate and reach much higher standards than any skateboarder could reach alone. Now let's take another example. Here's Susan and Michael. They have just bought a new property, now need a new house. John is an open source architect and offers 3 designs that Susan and Michael can base their dream house on. They choose option A because it best fits their needs. But Susan wants a conservatory as well, so Michael draws one and adds that as an extension to their chosen house design, option A. Susan and Michael choose Company A to help build the house. It should be easy for Company A to build it because the architectural drawings and guidelines are already produced by John, the open source architect. But during the process, Susan and Michael find out that Company A's employees are very slow and not very polite. They therefore get Company B to finish the work. It's easy for Company B to take over the project because everything is openly documented. Fortunately, Company B does an amazing job of completing the construction project. In the meantime, Coco and June have shared a new solar cell design as an extension to option A as well. Susan and Michael also decide to add that to their home. Susan and Michael are now happy owners of a beautiful and customized new home. But John is also happy. He can now add 2 new extensions to his professional portfolio without having done anything himself. So now I've given you a taste of some of the many benefits of open source. But before I leave you, I have to put an end to some of the myths that still exist. First, you have no control of your work. That's not true. As the initiator, John, the open source architect, verifies extensions and chooses what can be added to his specific project, and therefore also decides where the project is heading. Second, open equals unsafe. Not true. In an open source project, many people are involved and cooperate to make an even safer product and to keep unauthorized people out. And third, everything is free. No, the source itself is free and publicly available, but the house must, for example, still be built, customized, maintained, and provided with water, power, and heat. Hopefully you can now better understand the positive term open source and the principles within. Please start opening up and use the extreme beneficial principles the way they deserve.
So I hope we got a glimpse of what open source is. I did not put in much time on again explaining what open source and all that stuff is, because we have to majorly have a hands-on exercise today where we will be deep diving into different softwares. I have a set of softwares already installed on my system which we'll be jumping on into. But before that, I would like to see a quick yes in the chat section that yes, everything till now is clear. And if you have any doubts regarding the definition of open source or what exactly does it mean and what are the examples, ask it to me right now. So that once we deep dive into the softwares part, like the hands-on part, we will be putting our more attention on how to create beautiful images, how to create videos and all that stuff. So is everything till now clear, guys? I would like to see yes from every one of you who's in this session right now. I see there are around 38 participants, 38 plus 7. Fantastic. So around 40, 45 participants. Cool. So let's go ahead. Now, I have already shared a lot of lists in the last session which we had, but these are some which I thought of adding here just to give you just that how open source messaging or chat applications or other applications can be beneficial. Is there any question, guys? I see the mic is open. Hello. I'll continue ahead, no problem. I think someone has turned on the mic. Any question? Siddhi, Kshitija, can I continue?
Guys, if you have any questions, you can ask Shubham.
Yes, yes. Please keep it like an open mic. It's not a monologue. Let's keep it like a dialogue. Let's interact. Is there any question, guys?
No.
No, sir. No, sir.
No questions.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you very much, guys. So the very first list that we're going to explore today, and we all are familiar with these names, Telegram and Signal, of course. Discord is also very much popular in the gaming communities. Also, there's Element, that's another software in open source that can be used for messaging and chat applications. So just it's a simple thing, nothing much to explore on this. Signal, Telegram, Discord, and Element. We all are well versed with WhatsApp. Signal is similar to that, created by the same people who had created WhatsApp. But Signal, somewhere or the other, is not that capable like how WhatsApp is able to hold huge amounts of data. We have already witnessed it when the Chinese application ban happened in India. Many of us were thinking of switching to Signal because of data privacy and security concerns. But Signal is one good option if we have to have internal communication. Telegram is a very good option, I would say, because I also prefer Telegram in order to interact with people, in order to share heavy files and all that stuff. So Telegram is the option. Discord is much popular in the gaming communities where people who generally play games stream live events and all that stuff. So Discord is just like a server where you have your own server space and you tend to invite people, chat with them, have interactions with them. And Element is, of course, again, another application which is open source and that is used for messaging and chat. Next is open source blog builders. So now blog and website, we can relate these terms. Blogs can be considered as static pages, like one page of website, and websites, of course, can be multi-pages. When I say blog builders or web builders, these mostly relate to codes. These mostly relate to drag and drop editors. So some good examples in open source market are Open Element, Suburan, Hugo, and Silex. So if you are not aware of these names, just click a screenshot of these names because these are very good options if you want to try writing a blog or building a web page of your own. So this is it. And one important thing before we move on, in case in the whole session, if you find anything interesting, just click a screenshot of that particular screen so that you can share it with your community and just add hashtags like FOSS session with RAID or live session on FOSS, something of that sort, because that helps in connecting FOSS free and open source communities all together. All right. So the 4 examples, 4 options, there are many which are available on the web, but these are the ones which I have already tried myself. And yes, these are very good options. So Open Element, Suburan, Silex, and Hugo are some very good options for blogs. Again, web builders. Now, web builders here in terms of WordPress, Drupal, and Joomla, if we take these names, not everything is free, of course, but WordPress has WordPress.org and WordPress.com. So .com version is paid. .org can be self-hosted. It can be on a private server. It can be on a shared community server. Similar happens with Drupal and Joomla. So WordPress, Drupal, Joomla, and Grave.js are like web builders where you can create websites, beautiful websites, design with design applications and all that stuff. So these are the 4 names. Open source office and media repository. Now I want to understand how many of you right now are using Microsoft Office as their regular workforce in the regular workforce application. So how many of you? Yes, I would like to see it in the chat section. Which applications do you use daily? Like when we talk about Microsoft Office, which are the primary applications that you use? So I generally use Word and PowerPoint. What about you guys? Word, Excel, PowerPoint, yeah. Right. So okay, many of you are only using Word. Okay. No one is creating presentations. All right. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Okay, so we need a Word is like word processor that would have your text and some sort of images. Excel is for numbers, and PowerPoint presentation is for visualizing showcasing graphics and all that stuff, right? So now let's come to this option which we have, and that's here. So LibreOffice is another option, and I have installed it already for you all to have a glimpse how it works actually. So in LibreOffice, we have a writer document, a calculator spreadsheet, and an Impress presentation. Now you see the names are synonymous: document, spreadsheet, and presentation. If we compare it with Google Sheets, Google Docs, and Google Slides, it is similar to that. So slides represent presentation, and in Microsoft, we call it PowerPoint. In spreadsheet, here it is called a spreadsheet in Libre. We call it Excel in Microsoft, and we call it Google Sheets in Google Docs. And when we talk about document, like the word processor, here it is called the writer document. Here we call it Word, Microsoft Word, and there we call it Google Docs. So these all are similar. Now, if we just click on any of these, see, the interface is just similar to Microsoft Word or Google Docs, where you have file, edit, and all other options. You can just simply type in anything that you want to type. Then you can modify the text, font, and all that stuff. If you want to bold it, you want to highlight it, anything of that sort. So there's nothing much to explore on this end as such, and saving the part again the same. Now LibreOffice, second part, as I mentioned, is spreadsheet. Again, this looks like Excel. This is free because everything, whatever you work on Excel or Google Sheets, is all possible with using LibreOffice. So this is LibreScalc, and third is LibrePresentation. So if I open presentation, here also you get beautiful designs for designing your presentations and all that stuff. You open it and like the normal way, how you do it using Word art and all that stuff. So I hope this is clear that Word, Excel, PowerPoint, which the basic features we regularly use, are all possible in LibreOffice also. I would like to see a quick yes in the chat section that yes, you got to know something new today. And as I understand, most of you are open source enthusiasts. So I think most of you were already aware of this part. So that's a good thing. Now, one important thing to make you all understand, Microsoft Office subscription. Yeah. So now if I go to Microsoft Office subscription to buy any of the subscription, it is very costly for me, you see. But if I go to LibreOffice, it's free. It is never charging me anything, it's free. So now the choice is all yours, which one you want to opt for. Because if you're working in some company, MNC, or you have got good amount of source coming in by your business, then you can go for a paid version. But I generally would recommend, if your work is similar to what you want to do it on Microsoft Office, then you can definitely switch to LibreOffice. And there are other two options also. Here you can calculate binary operations and all that stuff that's available here. And base database, again, SQL kind of stuff can be done. So I hope LibreOffice is clear to all of you. And do we have any questions coming up now, guys? I would like to see if I ask you, what is the name of word in LibreOffice? I would like to see the answers in the chat section. What is the name of the word processor in LibreOffice? Come on, guys. Yes, Sakshi is right. Write a document. Libre is an FOSS. Yes, it is free. Libre, the word still says it's called Libre or Libre. We in India pronounce it Libre. In foreign countries, it's also pronounced as Libre. And Libre depicts that it's free. It is open source. Write a document. Fantastic topic. Great. So I think we can go ahead. I would like to see a yes in the quick chat section, because today I have not just kept it as a presentation session. Better if we interact and take it ahead. Okay, thank you. So moving on. Now we got to know that we have a word processor available free of cost. Apart from that, there's another OpenOffice. Like OpenOffice, as the name itself says, it's open, it's free. So OpenOffice is another example. Now Apache OpenOffice does not have a great, you said, that inviting interface as compared to Microsoft Office or LibreOffice. So I've not installed it, but while testing it, I found that yeah, it's okay for basic operations. If you do not have a high-end device, you can definitely go for Apache OpenOffice. Now let's look at this third name. This is a media repository. Now what exactly is a media repository? If I just go on the web and I type open clipart. So now we try to find images or clip arts on different web sources by just typing it on Google or some search engine. But there are legitimate sites which actually provide us with high quality graphics and images. One amongst them is OpenClipart. So every day, every time this OpenClipart, you see, it's since 2004 and has a huge collection of clip arts. And if you click on any of these, you can use it in whatever format you want, like SVG or what quality you need. So this is a media repository where you find media like GIFs or videos, graphics, images, all that stuff, and you can use it. Now this was one for clip art. There's another one that's very popular, that's OpenWorks. Now this works in unison with WordPress. Oh shit, 1 second. I clicked on Zoom. Okay. There's another one that works with WordPress. So when we come here to OpenWorks, here Here it is. You can search anything. For example, you search moon. You type it there. So whatever is available in terms of moon and with the best quality premium pictures and all that stuff comes in here. So it's like fantastic to use, and you can also like have like official credits and all that stuff. So that's about the media repositories. I hope we all are on the same page, guys. Is this session giving you something more than what you knew? Yes, no. Any one of you, come up on the mic. Any one of you, take it voluntarily and ask me a question regarding your FOSS journey. Like, how's been your FOSS journey, or what are you actually looking for to explore? So do not worry. It's okay if you do not have the questions framed in your mind, but let's interact. So should I be the one to ask anyone, or someone is coming up voluntarily? Okay, so Tanmay, can you be the volunteer for now? Tanmay Doshi.
Yes, sir.
Hi. So how's your journey in open source? Since when did you start in open source?
Sir, actually, I am a FE student, so I don't know much about the FOSS and open sources. So
Okay.
that's the reason I joined today's session. So
Are you getting the point what open source is?
Yes.
What we have talked about?
I'm getting it.
All right, fine. Thank you very much. Now let's ask Sahil Singh. So Sahil, you there?
Yes, sir.
So are you with us? Like, did you understand what all we discussed till now?
Yes, it was my first session and it is going great.
Okay. I would want to understand it from someone who has already explored open source. So Siddhi, I think you can be the best person to answer this. Siddhi Manushali. She's there?
No, Siddha is not here.
Okay, then you answer it, Siddhija.
Yeah, so like I have explored open source. I have like also contributed in many of Summer of Code also.
Okay.
But the basic knowledge is more important, that what are the softwares and what are the tools. So this is first important, that we should explore first and then we should implement. So
Correct.
the session is going very well.
Okay, fine. That's good. And please feel free to ask me any questions whenever we are exploring these softwares, because whatever is coming ahead now is like, I know it's heavy to digest in just a single session, but yes, I see one question. Unsplash.com. Yes, it is. And fine. So just ask me questions in case you have those, right? Moving on. So we did this part. Now the next part is, of course, open source apps, tools and resources, live demonstrations. I have not kept much slides on this presentation because today I wanted to have it with the softwares. So let's start. We have already completed Liver. Now let's go to Audacity. How many of you are editors? Like I like to edit videos and images and all that stuff. So how many of you are editors? Interesting. You saw the video at the start. I created it myself using an open source software. Fantastic. So many of you are creative people. So for all those creative ones, here is a software for you, a free of cost software that will give you flexibility to edit all your audios right now. So this is Audacity. Audacity is free. Here you can, of course, as you all are well versed, like many of you are editors, so you know, like there is a file, a track which you can put in here, and you can edit, cut. Now I have not added any track because on the Meet it won't come as a sound, but if you come here, you can just record anything. Now if I click on record, hi, recording this session, 1, 2, 3, and I stop. I don't think you guys will be able to hear it. So if I play, hi, recording this, can you guys hear it? So
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because last time we tried such an experiment with Three Idiots song, I think it was Sari Umre Hum, so it did not come to the audience. Okay, so you see how it works. Now if you want to trim it, you can like transpose it, you can select the section. If I select this section, for example, I trim it, so only this part is left. So the whole track becomes mute and only the part which we have kept can be heard. So editors, of course, I know you all are already well versed with these kind of stuff, but in case you want to record it for a short film or something of that sort, then Audacity is one very good example. Here you can select, you can transcode, you can put in background tracks. You see different options coming up here, like track size, mixer board software, go to mixer board, then again, what kind of mono stereo audio and all that stuff comes in picture here. So you got Audacity, guys? Any questions on Audacity? Like, and has anyone used Audacity before? Before we spoke about it just now, has anyone tried Audacity before? Yes, no, in the chat section, please. Yes, I have. Oh, nice. Okay, Abdul has also tried. Fantastic. Zaid, nice, nice. Good to see that you guys already know about Audacity. Now, moving on. I'll goes this Audacity stuff. We take it here. Yes. Now let's go to Handbrake. Oh, okay. I haven't installed it. Okay. So, do you guys know Handbrake? What Handbrake exactly is? Is anyone using Handbrake here in the class? Like, I'll give you what Handbrake actually is. Now, I need a framework to install. Okay, I'll do it later. Okay. So, I'll just take you to the website as of now because there's some error on my side. Yeah. So, Handbrake is an open source video transcoder. So, what is transcoding? I'll give you a glimpse of that. Whenever we shoot a video, it has some kind of a format. For example, MP4 format. Of if you're using the iOS device, it goes to MOV format. So there are different formats, file formats that come into picture when we shoot any kind of video or photograph. Now, talking about video, when there is transcoding necessary. So why is transcoding necessary? So sometimes what happens, we tend to shoot a video. It is in MOV format, and it does not work on lower devices. Lower devices in the sense, the devices which do not have that level of capacity to run MOV files. Now, MOV files are very large in size. In order to run those files on these small devices, like the devices which do not have that kind of graphic compatibility, we use Handbrake. So you can just download Handbrake, and you can put in your the video here, like the media file here. You can select the kind of extension you want. So here you can select MP4 and whatever device you want to play it on, like for example, Apple iPad or Microsoft Surface Pro. And you just click on preview and then okay, then start encoding. So it will convert the file. In short, it's a converter that will convert it according to the kind of device you want to view it upon. Nowadays, we have full HD TVs. Now on full HD TVs, if we take a 720 pixel video or 480 pixel video, it will of course not look very good because the quality of the device is very high and the video which we are putting it on is not that well shot. So of course, here we would need transcoding in order to match the pixels, in order to make it more efficient, make it more beautiful and inviting. Now, one thing to understand here, transcoders are inbuilt in video editors as well. Yes, Abdul, yes, there are transcoders, but sometimes when we use inbuilt video editor transcoders, the file size becomes very high. Like if I even shoot 1 minute video, it will go to 500 MBs. Now, storing such files and moving them becomes a challenge. So in order to have a lightweight solution to high-end files, we use Handbrake. I hope I have answered your question, Abdul. Yes, fantastic. So Handbrake will give you the opportunity to edit it according to your need, according to your ease. And it is free, of course, always free. And it works on any platform, Windows, Mac or Linux. So just try Handbrake whenever you get time and edit good videos, transcode them. All right. Now, VLC Media Player, we already know this. We already played a video on VLC Media Player right now, but I'll just open it to show you some controls. So here again, we can open multiple files, again, disks and different files, which are like, we can create our own playlist. We can play audio, video tracks. We can also add subtitles. And if we are good with creating a video, a short film in which we have to keep our own subtitles in different languages, we can do that. Again, tools, effects and filters, like codec information, and again, transcoding, all that is possible using VLC Media Player. So we already played a video, right? So if we play this video, you see.
Do you know what?
Here on VLC Media Player, I tend to get all kinds of subtitles. If there's a subtitle file, if there's audio, if I have to note down something, if you in photos, trim, draw, edit, slow motion, all that is possible. Again, picture-in-picture mode is available. If I want to zoom out, zoom in, that's possible. And play as a 360-degree video. Now, if I click as play 360.
Open source is? Well, let me explain it for you. Basically, it means that the recipe of any given work is shared and free for anybody to use.
So you see this.
Let me take you back where it all started. In the 1980s, a guy.
So I hope this gave you some idea of Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange, 360-degree video and all this stuff. Any Marvel fans here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Let's not keep it much serious, guys. I think like everyone is just too much into, it's very, you call it like formal session. Let's not keep it like formal session. Let's talk it out. So this was like 360-degree video with a very wonderful feature that actually is used a lot many times in order to explore different places, in order to uh, revisit everything virtually, like in order to experience the feel virtually. So VLC Media Player. Now, a very good necessity, I would say, is 7-zip file manager. How many of you have got that message from WinZip saying that your trial has expired and you need to pay a certain amount to like open your archive files? How many of you have come across that problem? I have come across it a lot many times. Like the 21 days trials and some around 10 or 11 opening files can be opened in that duration. Later, it again and again gives me that bug that please recharge, please recharge. So I was like fed up with this problem, and I thought of finding out yeah, you ignore it the most of the times. Fantastic. So, in order to put a stop to that kind of problem, you can just go to 7-Zip. 7-Zip is a free zip archive opening program where you can open different kinds of archive files, RAR files, and different files which are in a compressed format. And this is free. It will not give you any kind of reminders to make some payments or anything of that sort. So, 7-Zip, as I mentioned, it is a zip file archive manager. Here you can open files, you can copy, you can compress, you can again decompress, then select by type, and whatever you want to change about that file. Like for example, the details of that file, the owners of that file, the background dynamics of that file, all that can be updated using 7-Zip. So I hope we are clear on this part. Anything to add on here, guys? Any experiences which you had with WinZip or any other software? I see people. Yes, Zarar, you have any question? See, you have raised your hand.
No, sir, I was replying to your question, like how many of you get the message of.
Okay. So we all have experienced it at some or the other point, right? Okay, got it. So moving on. Now the next one is Brave Browser. I know many of you have already heard this name at some or the other point. You guys know this, but let's move in. I think we can skip this tour for now. Yes. So this is a browser. Now, what is a browser and what is a search engine? Let's clarify that first. Yes, it's best browser, of course, Abdul. So a browser is something that is giving you connectivity to the internet. Like you, whenever you want to search something, what do? You go to google.com. So what is google.com? Okay, what is Yahoo? Yahoo is not used much now, but what is Google, for example? And what is Google Chrome? So Google Chrome is a web browser and Google is a search engine. So when we type in Google, so if I type in Google, this is a search engine. Why is it a search engine? Because it is allowing me to search on a website, right? Now, what is a web browser? Brave is a web browser because it is in an application format. What is Google Chrome? It is a web browser because I am able to access the search engine using the web browser. So did you get it? So if I ask you in the chat, give me an example of a search engine and a web browser apart from Google. So any examples coming up? Edge, okay.
DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, DuckDuckGo. Yes. Even I have added it to my Google Chrome because it is a very interesting browser, I would say. And yes, it does not track you. It helps you to be private, keep your story private. And yes, you can read more about DuckDuckGo on DuckDuckGo's website, of course. But I have added it as an extension on my Google Chrome. So even if I open Google Chrome, it comes as DuckDuckGo. All right. So this is one good example. Yes, Firefox is another example. Yes, correct. Netscape. Yes, Brave, Bing. Fantastic. Now I would take you to one other player in this market, which is actually preferred by ethical hackers and the guys who are more into cybersecurity and cyber tech. Can you guess the name which I'm talking about? Yes, guys. Can you guess the name which I'm talking about? No, Linux. No.
Tor browser.
Yes. There's a hint here. It's already here. Okay. So this is Tor. So Tor will actually create a kind of a very secure network, a very private network, which is used by cybersecurity professionals. And not just cybersecurity professionals, also the people from the dark web, if you have heard about the words dark web, deep web, and all that stuff. So this is not recommended for everyone, but for the ones who are actually into market research, for the ones who are more towards research and development, innovation products, and all that stuff. I won't recommend you guys to use this browser on a daily basis, but in case you wanna read more or have references to the sites which are blocked in your countries, for example, some publications or some author books and all that stuff, then definitely you can use Tor browser. Here you type in anything. For example, if you type India, it takes some time to find, because what it does, it tunnels out all the data and it will totally keep you anonymous. So that's the best thing about Tor. The results, of course, take some time to come if we compare it with Brave or Google Chrome, but the results are very secure and anonymous. So you won't be, you say, highlighted at any point, and all your personal data is like kept safe. Now, if you search the same thing on Brave or Google Chrome, it will be like in a fraction of second. It won't take even a single minute. If I just search India and I type in here, you see the speed with what it came. And with Tor, it took me some time. But yes, Tor is recommended in case you want to access the sites which are actually blocked in your country. So that's possible. And Tor, of course, how many of you are using Tor at this point? Tor also comes with Brave now. Yes, Naushad. Yeah, that's true. So how many of you have used Tor before and you knew about Tor, or can you share us some example, like how did it benefit you in terms of using it compared to other web browsers? So anyone can take up the mic if you have any incident to share with us. No, Mridula has not used it. Okay. Anyone? Guys, I hope I'm okay with the pace. Like it's not going ahead and very fast, right? Am I good with the speed? Is it fine? Yes, no in the chat section, please.
Yes, it is fine.
Okay. Thank you, Siddhi. So Yashwant knew and used it long ago. All right. So Yashwant, right? Yashwant, what exactly did you use it for? Like to complete your project? What did you use it for?
I used it for browsing torrent.
Okay. So you used it for torrent. How many of you are using torrent sites, by the way? Yes, in the chat section. Yes, no, whatever it is.
No.
No one is using. Okay, good. Acha, when you use these torrent sites, they actually can access your backend data. If you're using it on your local device, they can access your data. So I want to understand what kind of applications are you using, like BitTorrent or uTorrent. There are many, I know. Flood. Okay, I see many of you are not using, but some are using. So guys, how do you keep your data safe then? Okay, yeah. कोई use नहीं करेगा आपसे. Yeah. So you see, whenever you're using anything of this stuff, guys, see, nothing in this world is free. Everything comes with a price. And if something is free, then you are the product. So make sure if you're using it anytime, you are connected to something that is very important, which I'll be talking about in the next part. That is a virtual private network, that is VPN. So a VPN is something that will create a tunnel. Now I have not logged in, but if you go through VPN, if you go to any VPN, for example, if I take you to VPN, Open VPN. Yeah. So this Open VPN will actually create a safe tunnel. It won't allow anyone to see what you are searching on the web. Now, when you use it, when you use this torrent and all that stuff, how many of you are using VPNs already? Is anyone using VPN, or was he or she aware of this? Yeah, Abdul. Yeah. So which VPN are you using, Abdul? Have you bought a subscription or it's free? Sahil is using. What if search and ignore? Prinka, incognito is just like for us. Company is able to see what you are searching, what you are trying to find on the web. Proton VPN. Yes, Danish, it's a very good example, and it actually works. It's very good for if you're using Proton VPN. Turbo VPN. Sahil, you bought that premium subscription for Turbo, or is it the free version?
It's free, sir.
Okay. So how is the speed? Like, is it fast, or it gives you results just like Tor? How's the speed in terms of
Sir, actually it's fast. Like as compared to Tor, it is fast, quite fast.
All right. No, incognito is not safe, Priyanka. If you are trying to use torrent or something of that sort using incognito, then definitely Google is already knowing that you're searching it. Opera inbuilt VPN. I doubt Opera is very safe. You just would have to look for options. And then Express VPN. Oh, we have one with Express also. Aman, you're using the free version or the paid one? Oh, okay, you're using the paid one. Which is the subscription? The very elite one? Like, guys, ExpressVPN is one very good competitor in terms of VPN, and they provide supreme services. Like banking and other people from that sector actually use this VPN. So, how much did it charge you, my friend? I don't have an account on Express. Has he answered in the chat? Oh, nice. 12 plus 3. Fantastic. And how much did they charge you for the subscription? It's really costly. Yes, it is. It is, Abdul. Yes. ExpressVPN is used by MNCs for carrying out business operations to keep their data private in terms of business strategies and all that stuff. It's very interesting to see that Aman is already using ExpressVPN at this stage. Nice. So, this deal is going on. Okay. Okay, you're doing it. All right. So, guys, any questions till now? Can we move on? I'll give you an example of one VPN which is free, which won't charge you anything, and it is easy to install. That is OpenVPN. You can note down this name, OpenVPN. So OpenVPN, VPN in short is virtual private network, where you are creating a safe tunnel for whatever you search. So there will be three parties: you, the tunnel, and the internet. Now, when we use Google Chrome or anything without any VPN, there are only two parties involved. That is you and the internet. But when we use a VPN, there's a secret tunnel by which your search entries go. And here, when they come out, they are shown as anonymous. The tunnel party will actually search for the results on the web. It will get back. It will give you to the anonymous creditor. It will come back. And here, then you get the result to the main party. So this is how VPNs actually work. And OpenVPN is a very good example. You can easily start using OpenVPN. There's nothing much to explore here, and there are community versions, of course, so you can just easily download, and it is very good. If I talk about OpenVPN or ProtonVPN, I generally prefer ProtonVPN because it saves me a lot of time, and you just need to create a user account and it connects you to Netherlands. So in just a fraction of a second, I am in Netherlands even after being in Mumbai. So any experiences with VPN right now, guys? Like, and one thing before I move on, please do not use VPN for any illegal purposes. I am recommending using VPN only for research purposes, nothing out of the hand. So make sure you're not using it for anything illegitimate, anything illegal, because that would actually cost you something. So, and as I mentioned, if anything is free, you are the product. So please make sure you're not using it for anything wrong. If you're using it for research, then it's fine. Which is good, VPN or Tor, sir? I would say ProtonVPN is good if you're just using it for research. If you want to download some heavy files in terms of research, for example, some textbook or some reference material like videos and all that stuff, then Tor is also fine, because Tor actually gives you that speed once it has reached the result. So Tor is good. Tor takes time in searching the results, but once it has it, it can give you a good download speed. VPN side, I prefer ProtonVPN. Again, OpenVPN is a good example. I hope, Naushad, I have answered your question. Yes, no, in the chat, please. Yes. All right. Thank you. So moving on, that's about the VPNs part. And now text editor. This is another popular example. This can come in terms of creating blogs and websites also.
Excuse me, Shubham. I had a doubt regarding VPN. Are VPN a part of open source contribution? If the creation of our VPN creation a part of open source contributions, means like when open source, what do you call an open source? Means anything that's available for everyone and where you can just amend things and you can upgrade things. Okay.
Correct.
So if we are using those VPNs, okay, so we are using those VPNs, are we using it as an open source thing, like whoever the creator is for this VPN, whatever kind of VPN we are using, so is it a part of open source thing? Because he's giving access to all of us now, he's giving access to use this kind of VPN thing through his server, so can it be called as a part of open source thing?
See, I'll take you to simple classification in this part. So when we talk about open source or any proprietary software, there are two parts that come into picture: proprietary software, open source software, and there's one in the middle that is called as freeware. So freeware will give you some part for free, then it will charge you something. When we talk about ProtonVPN, it's a freeware. It's not an open source one because it will give you limited access. For example, you can only use it for 4 devices. If you go for the higher one, like I'll give you an example with this 1 second. Proton VPN plans. Okay. Now, whenever you have to compare, which is it a freeware, is it a open source, or is it you say chargeable? So you can just refer to this kind of a page that says pricing. Now you see, I am using this free version that has 24 servers in 3 countries. It is 1 VPN connection, medium speed, and it's for free. Yes, so it is like a freeware. But as soon as they are starting to charge me, they give me extra features. Okay. So when something is charging you, then it is a proprietary software or a freeware. When something is totally open, when it is not asking you for pricing, the best example is OpenVPN. OpenVPN, you won't find any pricing plan. Okay. So here you can host itself. You won't find the page OpenVPN plan pricing. If there's any, then it is for the MNCs or you say different countries. But here generally you can directly download, and there is nothing that says pricing or plan. You can directly download it and use it. You see the difference? So when there is a freeware or a proprietary one, there will be pricing plans. But when there is a community version on where there is nothing that says pricing, then it is open, then it is free. I hope I have answered it.
Yeah, understood.
We got it, right? So
that I got it. I was just confused a bit about it.
Now you got it, na? Like
I got it.
Yeah. So the best thing, if you want to compare, if it is free or like paid, just look for the pricing page on any website. You will find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. So yes, we were on Atom. So Atom is like a text editor. Here you can create a new file. You can. Now I'm not going to open this because I have not kept any local files here on this device. But if you come here, you can open any project. You can connect your GitHub version or repositories here. You can type. You can install packages. You can choose themes, styling, scripts, snippets, shortcuts, and all that stuff. Yeah. So here you can type in your code, whatever you want to write, like HTML codes, for example, and then run it. It is in short like Postman. Have you guys used Postman at any time? Postman or VS Code? VS Code, anyone? At least I think VS Code. Yes. Good. Coffee cup? What was that? Sahil?
So the HTML editor.
Okay. I heard this name for the first time. Thank you for that. Okay. Postman, yes. Postman is popularly used. In Microsoft bootcamps and all, we used to use it a lot, many times. So Postman and VS Code are very good examples. So again, Atom is like there if you want to use it, if you want to create some open source projects in terms of websites and applications. So that's about it. Now, how many of you are using Photoshop? Let me have a quick look who's using Photoshop regularly to edit his or her photographs, or okay, used to Mridul, me, Priyanka, me, fantastic. So I would give you a free alternative to Photoshop, that is GIMP. It is image manipulation program, GNU image manipulation program. Okay, so just a sec, it's opening. It is a heavy file, but once it opens, it has a bunch of tools that actually can be utilized to utilize the creative skills. Yes. Is it visible to you all? Yes, no? Yes. I see it has a gray interface, of course, but here you can, for example, let's create one file. You can select different kinds of pages, what you want and all. And the parts, for instance, it will be very big. You see this, it has creativity. So if we create, we can of course create some shapes and all. Okay. And stamps and all. I'm using it after a long time, but yes, you can write anything here, hello, and then play with the size, CMs. So you get it, like it can be used like a Photoshop editor. Again, layers, they can be visible layers, they can be invisible layers. So if I come here, if I hide it, so it's just like Photoshop, or if you're using creative softwares like CorelDRAW and all. So there are another Photopea. Yeah, Abdul, there is one other alternative. But GIMP is like, it holds a very good background in terms of creating dynamic graphics. And you see, there are n number of options which are available. If you want to fill with background color or anything, you will find n number of things that can be done, like filters and all. So the quality that you get after rendering an image is fantastic, and then you can save it. I hope you got it. What is GIMP, guys? I'm actually excited and looking forward to showcase you something that I personally like a lot. So let's go to that part. The software is Blender. How many of you have used Blender? Anyone? Danish? Yes, you have created something. Wow. Abdul has also used it. Mudul has also used it. So do you have any links? What projects you have created? If you can share it in the chat, we all would be happy to see your projects. Anyone? Sometime. Okay, Shivam says sometime he has used it. Okay. I'll show you one which is actually available on the official website of Blender. So I think, yes. So you see Blender now, what exactly it has capabilities to do with. Can you see the moving picture? And
Yes.
Please take your mic, one of you, so that I can showcase you some good things on Blender. Okay. So now you see, if I just change the modes, it accordingly can allow me to play with the pixels and all that stuff. If I go to sculpt mode, it again gives me different stuff. Now this is original file from the official Blender website. I have not played much with it because I wanted to showcase to you as a demonstration. Now you see, in every object that we create, in every animation that we create, there are n number of things that we need to take care of. That is how every hair or every part, every ear, every eye would move. So everything can be minutely created and depicted when we use Blender. So it is actually used for animation and stuff. Also, it can be used as a video editor. Now, this was the final image that is actually created. But if you see, we have different layers that are actually following. The very first is this dotted layer. Then we go to the sculpt mode. Then like the baseline layer. Then there's vertex paint. This is to balance the colors. Then there is another like highlighter. And then it comes to the final one. This is the final version. So did you guys find it interesting to see? Yes, this can also be created using a free software, like an open source software. Yes, Stefan says yes. Siddhi says yes. Nice. So you guys should definitely give a try to Blender, because I will take you to YouTube to show what capabilities Blender has already got. Okay. So if I just go to YouTube and I see Blender projects, there is one which I actually like a lot. I think the detective one. Yes, this one. Yes, everything is visible. This whole project has been created on Blender. Okay, guys. So it's just a 3-minute video, 3.5-minute video. Just have a look and see what amazing things can be done using Blender.
This is 327. I'm going in. Good luck, Agent. Hello. I was just admiring the art.
You see the minute details, guys, here, like how well they have created these figures and how well they have paid it. Yes, how well they have made it. Yes, Danish, that's yes, amazing. Yes. Do we want to watch that movie? It's like just 2 minutes from now, or should we continue with theory part or application part? What do you want? The movie? If you want the movie, just write movie. If you want to continue, you can write yes. Movie. Okay. 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 If you have tried Black Plasma Studio, yes. Even that is used for animation stuff. So I'll just continue this movie. It's just like hardly like 2 minutes left from now.
Haircut? Please. Such a lovely place you've got here. Is it usually this empty? Just a trim, please. Boris Egan Kratos. I need backup.
What are you doing? No, I just wanted a haircut.
Looks like we've found our next recruit. Doctor, carry on with the procedure. We have to make room for Agent 327.
So did it just give you a view site of James Bond movie? Okay. No, so that's a YouTube channel. Oh, okay. Black Plasma Studio. There's a Plasma Studio application that's actually available. Yes, it gives you a vibe of James Bond actually. Yes. So I hope you enjoyed the movie. Did you enjoy it? Right? Yes, we enjoyed or something of that sort. Come on, guys. Keep up the spirit. Nice. So if I have to go to this project, the one which is actually created, I'll just close this Blender file. I'll show you the edits for this file, which we just saw. Okay, so I think it's here somewhere. Blender file, I deleted it. Okay, if you go to the web and you just type in Blender projects, you can find the demo file here. The one which we just saw, it was Agent 327, right? Here it is. It's a very heavy Blender file. If you just download it, you see the number of edits that it actually requires is humongous. But you can, if you want to study from a reverse engineer it, you can definitely download the file from this point and then try it out. Cool. So I'll just give you the link to this thing so that you guys can experiment later when you get some time. Here it is. Any questions till now, guys? Are we all on the same page? Okay, nice. So we are done with Blender's example also. We are done with Tor browser also. So whatever was planned for today's software journey is all done here. I would want you all to take on the mic now. Let's stop this chatting thing. Let's interact. And if you have any questions, please ask me now. Any questions, guys?
No, sir.
No questions? Everyone got what is open source?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Which software are you going to try? Today we saw around 9 to 10 softwares. Which one are you definitely going to try? Yes, I will install it just after the session. Which one is that?
Proton VPN.
Okay, Sahil. Anyone else? Yes, I most likely GIMP. Nice, creative. Naushad, which one? Siddhi, Zarar. Open source antivirus software. I did not come across any because generally it is preferred that there is no antivirus software. Let's try to search open source antivirus. Generally, I don't think there's anything that actually protects you from viruses because every day there's a new virus. No, there's nothing as such that actually protects you much. So the open source actually, when we talk about, if you wanna keep it in a safe environment, you can definitely try Ubuntu. Yes, Linux. Yes, use Linux. That would actually protect you from viruses because every day in our computing world there is a new kind of virus or worm that comes into picture. So no antivirus software as such. I will just contribute to open source. Yes, Siddhi, you have to do it. You have to protect open source. I see people will install Proton VPN, Audacity, and GIMP. Nice. Nice. How many of you are using Mac or Linux apart from just using Windows? Are well versed with Kali?
Yes, sir. I'm using Linux.
Linux, nice. Anyone with Kali Linux? Like, sorry,
Kali Linux and Parrot Linux.
Parrot. Yeah. That's actually used for ethical hacking purposes. Are you into cybersecurity stuff, Zara?
Yes, sir.
I see.
I'm learning cybersecurity.
Nice. Fantastic. So any questions to come up, guys, or should we request you all to come on camera for a good snap and then enjoy your Christmas? I try to keep it short and to the point without any much of text or information, instead just giving you a glimpse of all the software. So I hope you all enjoyed it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I would like to see your feedbacks.
Yes, sir.
I would like to see your feedbacks. I would request the organizer to please post in the feedback link in the chat section now. Siddhi, I suppose you can do it. And in case you guys want to connect, we can connect on LinkedIn. That's my profile. I'll share you my link. Here it goes. So just create your LinkedIn profile, guys. Now we are in the professional workspace, so that would really benefit you in terms of connecting with different contributors across the globe in open source and other software world. So I have connected with a lot of people. And before we move on, let's go for a short quiz to just get that energy. So here come the questions. But before the questions come in, 2-3 instructions. One, you will have to answer all in just a single message, like option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and whatever the answers are in just a single message. The top 3 ones would be getting the certificate from the organizers. So definitely, let's take it as a competition. Let's take it as a healthy competition. And there are 5 questions, simple ones, which can be answered in 1 or 2 words. And it's okay if you think and answer it, but you see the very first 3 would be getting the certificate. So
Okay, Shubham, I would like to add the people who will be active throughout the throughout all the sessions will be getting something from us. So make sure you all be active in the group as well as in the sessions. Thanks.
Yes. Thank you, Siddhi, for that important piece of information. So are we ready for the quiz? Should I take it to the questions part? Guys, yes, no? Please, one of you take up the mic and say yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes,
here are the questions. Your time has started. Siddhi, please make a note of the ones who are answering it at the first, like the top 3 ones.
Sure.
Thank you. So first question is, who is the father of free software movement? Second is best open source office suite. Third is any open source website builder. Then open source softwares are bad because they are free. Is it true or is it false? And last is full form of FOSS is. Do we have any winners?
Okay, Naushad has sent his answers. Let's check it out.
I cannot take it to the screen back. Just I'll give you 30 seconds more and then I'll take it to the screen. Chat section.
Is it possible that you repeat the questions?
Yes, sure.
Repeat the question.
The very first is, who is the father of free software movement? Second is best open source office suite. Third is any one open source website builder. Fourth is open source softwares are bad because they are free. True or false? And last is full form of FOSS. "15 seconds more to go." Cool, done. I'll take it to the chats now. Let's see who are the winners. So I see the very first one was okay. Naushad answered 4. Okay. Who has answered all 5?
Abdul has answered all the 5.
Yes, Abdul has answered all 5. Fantastic. Now Tanmay has answered all 5. Nice. And I see Danish has also answered all 5. So it's Abdul, Tanmay, and Danish. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Happy to see you paying full attention. And it's not Abdul Stallman, Purva. It's Richard Stallman. Abdul, you have become Stallman now. Where's Abdul? Okay.
So sorry.
Yeah, I see someone has answered your name here. Purva has answered Abdul Stallman. It's Richard Stallman, who is the father of the open source movement. So I'll just take it to the answers now. These are the answers. Richard Stallman was the father of open source movement. Secondly, any REST office suite was LibreOffice, LibreOffice, what we call it, on Apache OpenOffice. Then website builder, any one of them ones, WordPress, Drupal or Joomla. Then is open source free? Free means it's not good, it's like false. And last is free on open source software is a full form of false. So is it clear to every one of you? Nice. Okay, nice. Tanmay, Abdul and Danish, please drop in your email IDs. And can we have a quick snap to just mark in that, yes, we had a interactive session and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you can just put in some of your feedbacks in the chat, it would really give me energy to just say a bit you adieu. So did you guys enjoy the session? In the chat section?
Yes, sir.
Enjoyed a lot. Fantastic, Tanmay. Okay, only Tanmay enjoyed. What did you take from? Write any key takeaway from the session, like whatever we discussed in this span of 60-70 minutes. So no, don't give me generic comments. Too good, fantastic, excellent. Give me something. What is your key takeaway from today's session? So the question is, what is your key takeaway from today's session? And then you give me that feedback, like how you liked it or not. But what is your key takeaway from today's session? Like how we have
learning about new open source softwares and how everything works.
Interesting. Anyone else? Come on, take up the mic. If you are like shy on the chat section, take up the mic, no problem. About VPNs, nice. So you guys enjoyed it. Good to see. Should we have another session sometime next month in 2022?
Yes.
We have already done the Dolgy, now we can have a Triology, right? Now Spider-Man has it. Siddhi is like, okay. So Siddhi, it's on you. Should we have it or not? She's the organizer, the backbone. And Girija, I suppose, was also coordinating it well. So thanks to both of you for organizing it so well. So Siddhi, would you give me a chance as Andrew Garfield in the third Spider-Man movie?
Sure.
Okay. How many of you have seen the Spider-Man No Way Home? Okay, nice. Come on, guys. Okay, it's amazing. Yes, it is amazing. Fine. Come on, let's come on a snap. Let's take a snap. And I suppose you all have already filled in the feedback forms which Siddhi or the organizing team had shared. Yes, Girija had shared it. And I have shared you my LinkedIn profile already in case you want to connect. That's it. So yes, at the very start, I shared you one link. If you get some time, have a look through this session because it would actually benefit you in terms of strengthening your fundamentals and finding more options in terms of open source. So save this link. Siddhi has shared the feedback form link. Kindly fill the form. With this, let's call it Tata. But come on the video for a snap. Siddhi, will you be able to click a snap? In any avatars, no problem. It's fine.
क्षितिजा कर ले क्लिक पीसी पे है ना
हाँ I'll do that.
Okay.
सब चालू करो अपना कैमरा show us your faces.
Yes. Done?
Yeah.
Cool.
Done.
Thank you very much, guys. It was really interesting and I enjoyed interacting with you all. Hope to see you learn more ahead, continue your learning, and deep dive into open source, try new softwares, and share your reviews with your peers so that everyone benefits from the interaction. With this, I'll take your leave for now. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Guys, be ready for the next session, which is tomorrow, and make sure you have your laptops by your side.
Yes, it is going to be a hands-on.
And make sure you stay active throughout because you're gonna get something. You all can leave if you have any doubts, then you can stay, otherwise you people can leave.